Before your day begins to demand your attention, before thoughts scatter into plans, pressure, and routine, there is a quiet, sacred window. A moment where nothing has yet taken shape around you. In that space between sleep and waking, your awareness is still untouched, still open. And in that openness, you have access to something powerful, the ability to set the tone of your entire day from within. This early moment is not ordinary. It is the most receptive state of your mind, where your subconscious is soft and impressionable. What you feel, what you assume, and what you accept here quietly becomes the foundation of everything that follows. You are not just waking up physically, you are stepping into creation itself. Before the world starts speaking to you, before notifications, conversations, and responsibilities pull you outward, you have a choice. You can either repeat yesterday unconsciously, or you can consciously begin again. This is where transformation starts, not in the outer world, but in the inner state you choose to occupy. You are not shaped by circumstances first, you are shaped by consciousness first. Life does not simply happen to you, it responds to the state you embody. When your inner world is calm, aligned, and intentional, your outer world begins to reflect that order in its own way. This is why this moment matters so deeply. You are closest here to your true self, the version of you untouched by fear, memory, or limitation. In this clarity, you are not your past thoughts. You are awareness itself, capable of choosing a new direction. So instead of rushing into the day with old mental patterns, pause within yourself and set an intention. Today begins from within me. Today I lead with awareness. Today I align with something higher than my fears. You are not at the mercy of life. Life mirrors what you consistently believe and feel. Your mind is constantly filtering reality based on your inner assumptions, and your emotions broadcast a signal that shapes what you notice and attract. This means your inner state is not passive, it is creative. When you wake with heaviness, the day feels heavier. When you wake with gratitude, life feels more open. When you wake with fear, obstacles seem louder. Not because the world changes instantly, but because your perception does. That is why this morning space is so important. It allows you to choose your inner direction before the world influences you. You are given a blank page every day, and your first thoughts become the ink that writes it. You are not here to react blindly to life. You are here to participate consciously in it. Your imagination, your belief, and your inner assumptions are not random. They are creative forces. What you consistently imagine and emotionally accept becomes the direction your experience follows. There is a deeper truth here. Identity shapes reality. Who you believe yourself to be determines how you think, how you act, and what you recognize as possible. If you carry the identity of fear, you will find fearful patterns. If you carry the identity of strength and clarity, your experience begins to shift accordingly. This is not about forcing positivity. It is about realigning your inner state. You're not trying to become someone new. You are allowing what is already within you to express itself without resistance. Each morning gives you the opportunity to step out of yesterday's identity. You are not required to carry old emotional weight into a new day. You can release it consciously and begin again with clarity. As you become more aware of this, you start to understand a powerful principle. Your day is not decided by events, but by the state you bring into events. The same situation can feel completely different depending on your inner condition. This is why inner renewal is essential. You are constantly being invited to shift from fear to trust, from reaction to awareness, from limitation to possibility. And this shift happens within you first, quietly, before anything changes outside. Your imagination plays a central role here. It is not just fantasy, it is the creative faculty through which inner reality is formed. What you consistently hold in mind emotionally becomes the blueprint of your experience. When you imagine yourself calm, capable, and supported, you begin to move through life differently. Even your nervous system responds to this inner state. It looks for evidence that matches what you believe. So when your inner world changes, your perception of the outer world changes with it. This is why intention in the morning is so powerful. It is not about control but alignment. You are choosing a state that will guide how you respond, how you perceive, and how you move through your day. You can begin by quietly affirming within yourself, I am not defined by what happened yesterday. I choose who I am today. I step into this day with awareness and openness. Feel that truth rather than just thinking it, because feeling is what anchors belief. When your inner state and emotion align, your entire system begins to follow. As you settle into this awareness, you begin to notice something subtle but powerful. Peace becomes more accessible, clarity becomes more natural, and reactions lose their control over you. You are no longer being pulled by every thought or emotion, you are observing and choosing. In this space, gratitude becomes a grounding force. Not forced gratitude, but real appreciation for the fact that you have another chance to begin again. Another opportunity to shift, to grow, to align. You are not here to struggle through the day unconsciously. You are here to create it consciously. Through your beliefs, through your focus, through your inner state. As you move forward today, remember this: you are influencing your reality constantly through what you assume to be true. So choose your assumptions carefully. Choose peace over panic. Choose clarity over confusion. Choose trust over doubt. Let your inner world become the source of stability. Let your awareness become the anchor. Let your identity be aligned with strength, calmness, and purpose. And as you step into the world, do not forget this simple truth: you are not just entering the day. The day is responding to you. As your heart opens and resistance begins to fall away, something subtle but powerful happens within you. Your mind starts to clear, and trust rises naturally without force. You enter a state where life no longer feels scarce or uncertain. Instead, it feels supported, guided, and deeply intelligent. In this awareness, you no longer see blessings as rare or favor as random. You no longer feel distant from God. You begin to sense a quiet truth settling in. You are not separate from divine presence. You are held by it, guided by it, and moving within it right now. This is the inner posture of someone who understands a deeper law of life. It is not about seeing first and then believing. It is about believing first and then beginning to see differently. From this state, everything in your day begins to shift. A deeper stillness begins to rise inside you. Not an empty silence, but a full and alive quietness. It feels like your soul remembering its origin, like your mind returning to balance, like your heart finally releasing its inner tension. In this space, you realize something important. Today is not something to fight against. It is not a battlefield. It is a creative field, a space where your awareness shapes your experience. This quiet is not emptiness. It is intelligence. It is guidance. It is the soft awareness of something greater moving through your thoughts, gently aligning your direction without pressure. And in this stillness, a powerful realization begins to form. You are not alone in your day. You have never been alone. There is a presence that walks with you, strengthens you, and supports you even when you are not consciously aware of it. There is a wisdom that guides your timing, your decisions, and even the unseen shifts in your life. When you become still enough, you begin to feel it. A quiet reassurance that you are being led. You can begin to speak inwardly from this place: I am guided today. I am protected today. I am supported today. I am not alone. Let this settle deeply, not just as words, but as a felt truth. Because when you carry this awareness, fear begins to lose its influence. It cannot survive in the presence of trust and inner certainty. You start to move differently through your day, less rushed, less reactive, less burdened by imagined outcomes. Instead, there is a sense of ease, as if life is unfolding with you rather than against you. Fear weakens in this state. It no longer has space to grow. When you are anchored in a deeper awareness of presence and support, fear loses its voice. Anxiety loses its authority. Doubt begins to fade. Your mind becomes clearer, quieter, and more stable. Thoughts that once felt overwhelming begin to settle naturally like dust in still water. You do not need to force control over them. You simply return to awareness, because thoughts always follow your inner state. They are shaped by what you believe, what you assume, and the identity you are occupying. When your inner state is calm, your thoughts reflect that calmness. Now, your mind is no longer a place of conflict. It becomes a place of clarity, a space where wisdom can be heard more easily, a space where intuition feels stronger and more natural. In this clarity, you begin to act differently. You no longer respond from fear-driven thinking. You respond from inner knowing, from peace, from alignment. This is what it means to have a grounded mind. And from this grounded state, your entire day becomes more stable. Your decisions become clearer. Your reactions become softer. Your path feels more guided. You begin to understand that your inner world is not passive. It is constantly shaping how you perceive everything around you. It is influencing how life appears to you moment by moment. When your inner state is peaceful, life appears more supportive. When your inner state is tense, life feels more chaotic. Not because life changes instantly, but because perception changes through consciousness. This is why your morning state is so powerful. It sets the tone for everything that follows. Before external events take shape, your internal atmosphere is already creating the lens through which you will experience them. As you rest in this awareness, a deeper truth becomes clear. You are not waiting for life to happen to you. Life is responding to you. Your presence, your state, your belief is constantly communicating with your experience. This is why intention matters, not as wishful thinking, but as direction. When you intentionally choose peace, gratitude, and trust, you are shaping the emotional and mental foundation of your day. In this state, you can affirm quietly within yourself, "Today I am aligned. Today I move with clarity. Today I walk in peace. Today I choose trust over fear." Feel these words instead of just repeating them. Let them become a feeling in your body, because feeling is what anchors belief. And belief is what shapes experience. As this settles deeper, something powerful happens. You begin to feel less controlled by circumstances. You stop seeing life as unpredictable chaos and start sensing an underlying order within it. You begin to trust that even timing is not random. What arrives in your life arrives through a deeper intelligence. What unfolds is part of a larger pattern that is already in motion. Just like nature has seasons, growth, and cycles, your life also unfolds in phases of preparation and arrival. What feels like delay is often preparation. What feels like pause is often alignment forming. A seed does not question when it will become a tree. It simply grows in silence, trusting the unseen process. In the same way, your desires are not delayed. They are developing in unseen ways. Nothing is wasted. Nothing is out of place. Even confusion, even waiting, even uncertainty can be part of preparation shaping you for what is next. When you understand this, you stop fighting time. You stop resisting timing. You begin to relax into it. And in that relaxation, things begin to unfold more naturally. Because resistance slows clarity, but trust restores flow. You're not here to control every detail. You are here to align with a deeper intelligence working through your life, a wisdom that sees more than you can currently see. There is no need to rush what is already unfolding. There is no need to force what is already forming. Your only task is to remain aligned, aware, and receptive. Even what appears as delay is not denial. It is preparation. It is shaping you internally for what you are asking for externally. Just as seasons change in perfect order, your life is also moving in a rhythm that is intelligent and precise. Nothing arrives too early or too late from this deeper perspective. And when you stop resisting time, you start to feel more present, more open, more grounded in what is actually happening now instead of what might happen later. In this presence, you begin to realize something profound. There is no separation between your inner world and your outer experience. One reflects the other continuously. So instead of waiting for change, you become the state from which change naturally emerges. Instead of chasing outcomes, you embody the consciousness that produces them. This is the quiet power of awareness, not force, not struggle, but alignment. And from this alignment, you move through your day differently. With less fear, more clarity. More trust, more presence. You are no longer reacting to life. You are participating in its unfolding with conscious awareness. And in this state, you begin to understand your timing has always been perfect because it is guided by a deeper intelligence within you. You are not behind. You are not early. You're exactly where consciousness has prepared you to be. So you move forward not with anxiety but with quiet certainty, not with pressure but with peace. Not with doubt, but with trust in the unseen process carrying your life forward. Everything in your experience unfolds from your state of consciousness. What you call timing is not an external force controlling your life, but a reflection of what is happening within you. The space between desire and its physical expression is not empty waiting, but a powerful phase of transformation. In that period, you are not simply waiting for something to happen. You are gradually becoming the kind of person who naturally lives that reality. When you truly understand that consciousness shapes what you experience, you stop seeing timing as something that acts on you. Instead, you realize it is flowing through you. Your inner state is what organizes the outer world. There have been countless moments in your life that only made sense later, where things aligned in ways you couldn't understand at the time. That is because a deeper intelligence within you is always arranging circumstances in the exact order needed for your growth and fulfillment. Even your resistance to trusting timing is not a mistake. It is part of the process. Through that resistance, you begin to see how deeply your consciousness influences everything you experience. There is no absolute right or wrong moment in life. There is only your perception of time, shaped by how you are being internally. What you see as delays or acceleration are really shifts in your inner state, which then reorganize your external world to match. Think about moments of transition in history or personal life. What looked like delay or struggle was actually preparation. Nothing happens too early or too late in a deeper sense. Everything unfolds when consciousness is ready to experience it. The same applies to your desires. When something has not yet manifested, it is not because it is denied, but because you are still shifting into the version of yourself that naturally lives it. The moment you stop identifying with lack and begin to dwell in the feeling of already having what you desire, time begins to lose its rigid meaning. You are no longer waiting, you are embodying. In that state, life reorganizes itself effortlessly. There is no future you are chasing and no past you are trapped in. There is only the present moment where everything is being shaped. Much of human suffering comes from trying to force life into a timeline based on fear or impatience. But when you shift inwardly, you realize that life responds instantly to your inner alignment. The external world always reflects the state you consistently occupy. So instead of asking when something will happen, the real question becomes who you are being right now. Imagine an artist creating a masterpiece. They do not rush the brushstrokes based on anxiety. They move from an inner sense of knowing. In the same way, your life unfolds from an inner intelligence that is already aware of the complete picture. Your role is not to control timing, but to align with the version of yourself that already lives the fulfilled experience. You are not a victim of circumstances or delays. You are the source from which your experiences emerge. When you accept this, trust replaces worry. You begin to understand that everything arriving in your life is doing so at the exact moment your consciousness is prepared to receive it. Even challenges, even waiting periods are part of your expansion. The shift is simple but profound. Stop trying to force outcomes and instead embody the state that already contains your desire. When you do this, timing takes care of itself. Life stops feeling delayed or rushed and starts feeling aligned. You realize you were never waiting for life, life was responding to you. At the deepest level, there is only the present moment. In this eternal now, everything already exists. Your task is not to chase what is missing, but to align with what is already possible within consciousness. When you do, what you call perfect timing naturally unfolds without effort. And just as this understanding of timing transforms your perception of life, another deeper realization becomes necessary. For too long, many people live in a pattern of excessive approval seeking, constantly trying to be liked, accepted, and validated. This often leads to self-neglect. In trying to be overly agreeable, a person slowly loses connection with their own identity. Being overly nice can become a form of self-abandonment. You may find yourself saying yes when you want to say no, putting others first at the cost of your own well-being, and avoiding conflict just to maintain peace. But that kind of peace is not real, it is suppression. Over time, it leads to frustration, exhaustion, and resentment. True kindness does not mean erasing yourself. It means being honest while still being respectful. It means recognizing that your needs matter too. When you constantly sacrifice your own boundaries to make others comfortable, you are not being loving. You are disconnecting from yourself. Many people believe that being agreeable will earn them respect or love, but reality often shows otherwise. Without boundaries, people may begin to take advantage of your willingness to always give. You end up overextended, drained, and disconnected from your own goals. This is not the life you are meant to live. Real transformation begins when you start valuing your own voice. Saying no is not an act of selfishness, it is an act of self-respect. It shows that you understand your limits and honor your time and energy. When you begin to live from this awareness, you stop seeking approval from everyone and start building a life aligned with your truth. This does not mean becoming harsh or unkind. It means becoming authentic. You can still be compassionate without abandoning yourself. You can still care for others without sacrificing your own direction. Balance is what restores power. When you stop living for external validation, something powerful happens. You become more stable within yourself. Your decisions are no longer driven by fear of rejection, but by clarity. You begin to trust your own judgment. You stop over-explaining yourself. You stop shrinking to make others comfortable. As this shift deepens, your relationships begin to change. You naturally attract people who respect your boundaries rather than those who benefit from your lack of them. Connections become more genuine because they are no longer based on performance or people-pleasing, but on authenticity. Self-respect grows when you stop betraying your own needs. And with self-respect comes confidence, not the loud kind, but a quiet inner certainty that you are enough as you are. You begin to understand that your worth is not earned by how much you do for others, but by simply existing as yourself. When you live from this place, life feels different. You no longer feel drained from constantly giving without receiving. You no longer feel trapped in cycles of approval seeking. Instead, you feel grounded. You begin to move through life with intention rather than reaction. You reach a point where other people's opinions stop controlling how you feel about yourself. You know who you are, and that sense of identity becomes stronger than the need to be liked. You stop chasing approval because you finally understand a simple truth. Not everyone will like you, and that is completely fine. Your confidence no longer depends on validation from others. You don't need the world to approve of you in order to feel at peace with yourself. The only approval that truly matters is your own. When you accept that, something inside you stabilizes. You stop living for reactions and start living from truth. This doesn't mean you become cold, distant, or careless toward people. It's not about shutting your heart or ignoring others. It's about balance. You learn how to be kind without abandoning yourself, how to care for others without neglecting your own needs. Real kindness is never about self sacrifice or people pleasing. It comes from inner strength and self respect, not insecurity. When you stop living as the nice guy who constantly tries to keep everyone happy, you also stop allowing people to take advantage of your time, energy, and boundaries. You no longer place yourself at the bottom of your own life. Instead, you become more grounded, more clear, and more confident in how you deal with people. And something interesting begins to happen. Your relationships start to change. You no longer attract people who only come around when they need something from you. Instead, you start drawing in those who respect you, who value your presence, and who appreciate you for who you genuinely are. The connections you form become deeper, more honest, and more meaningful. You stop chasing attention or affection because you realize the right people don't need to be chased. They respond to authenticity. When you show up as your real self without pretending or overgiving, the right connections naturally find their way into your life. The real transformation is not about changing the world around you, but changing how you see yourself within it. When you stop seeking approval and start honoring your own truth, you reclaim your inner power and stability. Life begins to align naturally as you step away from people pleasing and into authenticity. True freedom is found in self respect, not in external validation. And when you finally stand fully as yourself, everything you were chasing begins to meet you on its own.